Hey, welcome to Papa Z's Bees. We're back at it again. This is the September 18th inspections. We did a little few more different things than usual. We got some new tools, got a little table here to be able to set things up on. Got some new beetle traps that we were going to try to use to see if we can make that work. So we'll start this disassembly as we normally do. Take the top off and then take the inner cover off. But prepare to take the super off by taking the inside covers off. As usual, these girls have really put the propolis to this to make it really hard to get these pieces apart, but we did get it apart, as you can see. It was a warm day out, 95 degrees, so the bees are, they're active, but they're warm and they don't really like the heat that much. But we'll see a little bit later what they do in the heat. Super's heavy and it doesn't have much honey in it, so I know what it's going to be like next year when it gets full. Lots of bees, so we'll get a little bit of smoke here and then take the queen excluder off. As if you've missed that, the queen excluder is just what it says. It keeps the queen from going up in your super, so you don't want her to lay eggs up there. Got a new little gadget here that several beekeepers that I follow use. It's a little frame rack. I've been just put them on the ground, and that's not the best thing to do. So this time I'm going to use this frame rack, and I think that'll really be helpful for me to be able to see what's going on, and as well as try to keep the bees off the ground as much as possible. We're also taking pictures of each of the frames, and we're going to send some of this information off to beescanning.org to be able to see if they can see any auroral mites and so on. So we'll kind of do that looking as we go. So we'll be able to get a little bit more close-up of the frames than what you normally do when we do an inspection. Kind of move fast through here because this time of year there's a possibility of robbing from other hives and stuff, so you don't want to keep these things open any longer than you have to.
There's some good pollen, so
you can see lots of bees, and this is one of the outer frames. If you look real closely on some of these frames, you can see a glint. You can see right there a lot of glint. That's nectar they're bringing in, so there's a lot of nectar coming in right now. So they're going to fill up these outer frames like this with nectar that they'll create honey for themselves for the winter, and then we'll probably also feed them a little bit. Next time we go through these, we're going to put a honey super on, a medium super, and feed them and allow them to make sure they have plenty of stuff to eat for the winter.
lots of brood here on this one.
Lots of bees, lots of nice little brood there. It's kind of spotty, but there are bees hatching all the time. She's laying them, and they're right there. There's the queen. We kind of got lucky this time and found the queen. Little yellow spot on there. She's supposed to have a white spot, but because she is a new queen this year. But the guy I bought her from didn't pay close attention to what color it should be, and both the queens I have are yellow. Lots of really nice brood right here. Again, you can see some spotty openings, and that's can be from several things. It can be they're hatching or whatever. And she's had a chance to lay in those frames. So we'll keep going on here a little bit. Not going to go through every frame, although we'll do pretty close on this one. But I just want to take the shots and kind of see how everything's going. A lot of nice brood here, lots and lots of bees. And again, you'll be able to see the glint from the nectar if the sun hits it just right. This is about the time of year that they slow down quite a bit, and then as winter comes closer, she'll start laying those fat body bees that make it through the winter. Normal bees, just regular worker bees, may last 40 to 50 days. Fat body bees can sometimes last up to 6 months because they have there's special types of bees that help keep the hive warm in the winter, and they use those fat bodies or the fat in their system to be able to support it, to support making the extra heat. See a lot of open brood here, and they've been putting some nectar in some of these, so they'll do that a lot of times
And
when there's not much laying going on, and the bees will put nectar in those what used to be brood frames.
and some pretty spotty brood on this side, but that's not a big deal. She's there and starting to lay, so I'm gonna go one more frame.
I always want to put them back in the same order, in the same direction than what they had them, because there's a reason they do what they do. You'll see lots of nectar glistening there on this frame, so that's nice to see. A little bit of brood. You kind of have a conflict between brood and nectar in some of these frames, and as long as they have plenty of room, you're fine.
I'm not seeing any eggs, so maybe she hadn't started laying her stuff yet. Oops, I gotta get it turned back around.
Almost put it in there backwards. Got little marks on one end to say which end is supposed to be towards the back of the hive, and
Decent brood.
sometimes the bees are really clean, and they clean everything. They'll clean the inside of their hive and so on, and they also clean the grease pen that I used to get them. Well, I just got stung there a little bit. My fault. I kind of had one on my finger, didn't notice it, and I kind of pressed against it, and she didn't have much choice but to bite. She was pretty She was pretty squashed when I saw her. So my bad. But the only time I've gotten stung has been my fault. Nice frame of bees and some capped brood. Again, if you have forgotten or just joining, the brown covered things are the covered or capped brood. So you've got bees in there that are growing and are going to hatch out here before too long.
She's laying on the side.
In fact, I got it in there backwards again. Oh no, this time I was trying to make sure I didn't roll some bees by putting the frame back in, so I smoked them a little bit to get them to move out of the way.
I'm gonna pull this frame out. This is one you got to be careful with because.
And this white frame here was a foundationless frame, meaning there was no foundation. That they created all that comb from scratch, just kind of an outside, just the top, bottom, and two sides was all that was there, and then they built all the wax in the middle. Whereas those black frames, and some of the other ones had some plastic foundation in that was waxed.
When you mark these, know which one is the correct end.
I noticed that I had this one in there backwards, so we're never going to put it back together. Put the queen excluder back on. Remove the hive rack. Then I'm going to end up remembering that I need to put one of those beetle traps in there, and it's a little small thing. Has small openings in the top. And the bees will chase the hive beetles, which are small little beetles, down into those. I'm getting ready to put some oil in there, and those hive beetles will get in there in that drop in the bottom, and they'll die. The bees can't fit into those traps, so we're not hurting any bees, but we do want to keep those hive beetles out. Smoke them up again, put it back together. Propolis kind of stuck the super to the table there. The table was really nice. It keeps me having to bend over a little bit, as big as I am and as old as I am. Bending over a lot is not the most fun thing to do, especially when it's in 90 degrees, 95 degrees as it was on this day, but inside the veil and the jacket it's a lot more warm than that. So, but we tried this table and see if it helped, and it did help. Especially on the other hive, which is lower. This hive is a little bit up more higher in the air. So anyway, we're all done now, and we're kind of cleaning up. And notice the bees on the back, they're starting to beard, which again, they do a lot when it's hot. A little bit later, after I did the other inspection, I came back and looked at this hive just kind of see what was going on. And boy, had they started bearding. I've never seen a bearding formation like this, kind of strung between the shade and the hive body. I slowed this down quite a bit so we can see it a little bit better. You can see under the landing board there where the bees land to go in the hive. That's a common place for them to beard, and then kind of hanging on the back of the hive is common. But that little way they did it up there in the upper corner is kind of neat. So I thought I'd kind of take that picture and show you guys what it looks like. And the bees do what they want to do, and they were hot. They don't want to go inside where it's even hotter, so they'll stay outside and kind of cool off. And this is one of the good ways they cool each other off. Well, thanks for joining. We're going to go do the other hive a little bit, and we'll have a video on the other hive inspection and in the next video that we do. Really appreciate you viewing, and subscribe if you can, and put the little notification bell on. That'll tell you when we put a new video out. As always, I want to thank my wife for being the great camera person that she is and getting out there with me and enjoying the bees. Again, thanks for watching. And I can see you.